Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, for pricing. Today, we're discussing a special series that came out for 2020, one of the most memorably handsome and offbeat versions of Zenith's popular Defy El Primero 21. This is the Ultraviolet. It is a lovely blackened and media blasted grade 5 titanium case, 44 millimeters in diameter by 15.2 millimeters thick and 50.5 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. Now the watch, of course, is very light in titanium, and not being too broad from lug to lug, it fits well enough on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. On this wonderfully flexible hybrid strap, I can tell you the watch would fit well on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference, maybe 14 if your wrist is more oval than round. You could see the cuff shot, probably not the tightest of dress shirts, but you should have no trouble with the jacket cuff. Down the barrel, you can see that the lugs are not projecting beyond my wrist, so I've got a little bit of margin to spare, and then over the top you can see exactly the same. It's not over the edge of my wrist. Taking a quick look at the strap, what we have here is actually a piece of embossed leather with a textile sort of matte finish. So it has a textile style weave embossed into it in purple, and then a rubber underlay. This is a little styling trait borrowed from sister firm Hublot with an LVMH, but it fits the watch well, and you can see there are gussets molded into the strap so that the pin will not actually gouge the leather. That is thoughtful. There is a full clasp, and as you can see, it matches the case, blackened and media blasted matte finish titanium. Internally, you can see the Zenith star, and then it uses twin triggers to release so it can't pop open accidentally. You tuck the strap in there, and the strap then goes underneath, and there are no minder loops out here. So a minder loop is like this. It's a little loop that takes care of any excess length. Well, this doesn't have that, and it also tucks the excess length under the clasp in the strap, so it's a very clean watch when it is buckled down. We'll pull that out for a moment. We'll go back to the case. It is a simple form, but one that dates back to 1970s Zenith Defy sports watches. So while at first glance the open dial and the oversized polygonal case might evoke Hublot or even Tag Heuer within the LVMH empire, it was actually Zenith that first coined this case shape, so this is an original. We have large shouldered rectangular pushers, a Zenith-style crown. You turn in a clockwise direction and it actually winds the chronograph power reserve. You turn it in a counterclockwise direction and it winds the time-telling functions. We'll talk a bit more about those in a moment. About the purple, it is ultraviolet. They want you to know that because ultraviolet is the highest frequency color in the spectrum, it belongs on the highest frequency chronograph available. How high, you ask? 360,000 vibrations per hour, or 50 hertz. The El Primero side of the movement, and they're actually two separate barrels, drivetrains, and escapements, but the El Primero side beats away at 36,000 vibrations per hour, or 5 hertz, as every El Primero has, save the Rolex models, since 1969. Interesting here is that there is actually a hacking or stop seconds function for the El Primero side of the movement, which is unusual because historically the El Primero, which beats away at 10 beats per second, does not have hacking. So this caliber 9004 was the first ever hacking El Primero. But you will also notice that the watch can run as two independent drivetrains. The chronograph is still running. Well, you can easily see constant seconds and the balance both have halted. So keep in mind, if the chronograph's not running or not even wound, the watch can run. And if the watch is not wound or running, the chronograph can run. As you can see, there are lovely iridescent ultraviolet elements underneath the open-worked dial. We have rhodium-plated applique indices. There will be a lume shot. You can see the Zenith logo in El Primero 21 ghosted underneath the sapphire. The sapphire has a little bit of camber to it. It's a box section shape. And then there's a chronograph power reserve, which is manual wind exclusively and 50 minutes. Turn the watch over. You can see there is a winding rotor. The winding rotor only winds the time-telling functions of the watch, which is to say the standard 50-hour El Primero movement. You can wind it manually as well, but it can wind itself automatically, whereas you must manually wind the chronograph. Now, the watch is 100 meters water resistant, pivots on 53 joules, and it is a certified chronometer, so it has quite a few feathers in its cap. There is a lot to love here. A timepiece that's big, boisterous, but not overwhelming on the wrist, and possessed of immense pedigree. This is probably the most fun you can have sub $50,000 on a chronograph. It's the aesthetic qualitative and technical equal of any RM11 or RM1103, and frankly, I would rather have this. You can reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. We're back with the Ultraviolet Green by Night. I should also mention the watch's chronograph uses a conventional Swiss lever, but the time-telling, or El Primero escapement, actually uses an unlubricated silicone escapement that allows for long intervals between services.